At the Demon King castle, in the depths of hell, an army of elite demonic creatures line the path to the throne. The all-powerful Demon King sitting atop the throne gives some backhanded appreciation to the human that made it here, ending, but this is it for you, ordering his army to kill the intruder. Yet, facing the charging army of demons, the magic marksman smirks, activating his power as he continues leisurely toward them, summoning 2 guns from his magic circles, one in each hand, and charging right back at the wave of demons. Then using the skill Bullet Dance to shred his way through them, leaving their corpses tattered with gaping holes. The marksman, having finished his barrage, then gets attacked by a crushing blow that sends tendrils of black lightning flying in its wake. But the powerful attack was too slow for the gunslinger, who appears in the dissipating smoke, gun drawn. The once mighty demon army left as nothing more than a pile of smoldering corpses. The Demon King, enraged at the sight, now stands before his throne, scythe raised. The Demon King mustering a storm of demonic energy in a show of power, before sending a wave of energy toward the marksman with a single slash of his scythe. The marksman barely leaning back in time to avoid the energy wave that destroyed the landscape behind him in an enormous explosion. The Demon King, unrelenting, strikes down on the marksman, who, only able to block, gets pushed back from the force, then quickly dashes away from a follow-up energy attack. He then tries to counter with his gunfire, but the Demon King remains unfazed, protected by the magic barrier powered by the dark stone on his forehead. The Demon King then sends 4 purple orbs of energy to chase the marksman, who attempts to evade with his swiftness, but ultimately gets hit by one, sending his 2 guns flying from his hands. Still confident, he summons a sniper rifle, asking if that is really the case to the demon's claims of invincibility, then taking aim and firing with the skill Moonlight Bullet, sending a golden streak directly for the dark stone. The Demon King's invincible barrier cracking on impact, the infuriated Demon King yelling that he will die by his hands, sending a flood of shadowy tendrils his way. The marksman, almost completely engulfed by the shadows, says, "Let's end this, Demon King," unleashing one final blow, Dawn's Judgment, sending a massive spiraling shot of energy hurtling toward the Demon King, shattering his magical barrier and blowing straight through the head of the Demon King, wreaking havoc to the surroundings. Despite this, the Demon King remains standing, screaming in agony and fury. The marksman, acting quickly, grabs his gun, still on the floor, and leaps into the air above the Demon King, blowing a hole through his head with the final words, "After enduring this much, it's time to see the ending." Game clear. Having just completed World version 2.0 with his Magic Marksman build, the protagonist of the story notes how fun magic skills were to use, thinking for the updated World version 3.0, he will be a mage. However, a normal mage would be too boring, so using World's Karma system that gives you benefits in exchange for penalties, he lays on all but 2 of the penalty traits in exchange for the normal traits and additional stats, creating what he deems to be the ultimate mage build, though he will be super sick, thinking it matters not, after all, it's just a game character. Lennox wakes to the shouts of a bearded man who socks him in the face, telling him to wake up as he throws him to the floor. You see, the last thing our protagonist remembers is the completion of the loading screen, upon which an immense gravitational force caused him to lose consciousness as he felt like he was being sucked inside, finding himself here and now as the weak character that he had created. After receiving the harsh reprimand of the supervisor, Lennox looks up to see the others joking at his state before running off to work at the supervisor's shouts. Only a man named Van, called aside by the supervisor, asking about the Order of Viper, whilst our protagonist laments that he is now stuck in this pathetic body. 3 days pass, and our protagonist quickly adjusts to his new life of constant labor, but still knows very little as whenever he asks around, he gets no response. After all, they already see him as a dead man. Lennox, again chewed out for his worthlessness, having dropped a box of parts. The sickly man falling into a fit of coughs. Our protagonist thinking he must only be sane thanks to the willpower he put into the character. The supervisor telling him not to get in their way and to go die in a corner. Our boy thinking the only benefit of this body is magic talent, and if he could manage to bring out that ability, he'd be able to escape. Then, spotting an exit, the ignored and near invisible Lenok makes his way toward a door that leads outside. Spying through a crack in the door, he sees two men speak about the delivery for the Union the day after tomorrow, and how the Union takes their product and sells it to the Black Mage. Our boy relieved that magic really exists in this world. The two men then pulling out and talking about a body enhancer called Viper and the filter within that contains mana. With the protagonist sensing the mana within the liquid, a shock rang through him as if something exploded inside his body. The sixth sense that exceeds all others, or his alter ego, coming to grasp this new sixth sense, allowing him to recognize what was always flowing all around, the fundamental power that makes up this world, the world's magic. At night, our protagonist hides under the covers as he practices magic, thinking that with this amount he should be able to escape, planning to make a break in 2 days when the Union comes, since the security should be weaker. Then, having the revelation to use the light, the magic skill he learned on his skin, to make it look like he's got a fever and on the verge of death, so he'll be left alone. On the day of the Union visit, our boy's plan is going off without a hitch. All the other workers thinking he's at death's door. Van stepping forward to deal with it, the others going off to not see what is to come. Our protagonist down a true hot sweat over the unexpected scenario, but thankfully, Van simply tells him to take this and hands over a vial of Viper, telling him it's a cheap enhancer but enough for the road he has left ahead. Now alone, the protagonist is left in awe at the effect the enhancer had on him, thinking that with this, his plan has now changed. The feeble Lenok approaches a worker in the dock, informing the agitated man that he was sent on an errand to the director's office for Viper. The man annoyedly telling him to follow. Opening the door to the director's office, he tells him to hurry up, but with the door now open, our boy makes his move, activating his magic and grasping the man's neck, letting off an electric charge of lightning, picking up the collapsed man's car keys and going searching around the office, finding a gun, some clothes, and the Viper. But just before he can reload on the Viper, the supervisor enters the office to the side of a collapsed body. The protagonist using his magic once more, trying to take him off guard, but this time the sneak attack fails and the supervisor backs up. Then realizing it's Lenok, he goes to attack, but thinking fast, our boy pulls out the gun, freezing him in his tracks. The supervisor then tries reasoning with Lenok, apologizing and swearing silence if he just lets him live, but he knows his words are just lies. Our protagonist in a cold sweat over what to do. At the security check for the exit, the guard wonders why Mark, the owner of the car, is leaving. Then, finding himself held at gunpoint by the protagonist, who orders him to open the gate. Scared to death, he complies, pleading for his life, when a call comes over the radio to seal off the exit now. One of the workers having found the bloody corpses of his workmates in the office. The guard mutes the call with an apology, but behind weary eyes, our protagonist coldly states, "If I leave you behind, you'll just become a problem," pulling the trigger and blowing out his brains, sending them splattering through the window behind. Our protagonist only thinking of how his high mental strength and rationality suppresses his fear and guilt, allowing him to maintain his sanity with level-headedness that grows even stronger in extreme situations as he makes his escape. Our boy arriving in the magic engineering city, Balkan, a dense cyberpunk metropolis. The protagonist looking around thinking everything has a little mana mixed into it, probably meaning there's a huge mana contribution to this world's civilization. Feeling weary, he goes to take some Viper, but with so few left, he decides to keep them for emergencies. Finally entering a hotel room, after parting with the car, he passes out in exhaustion, unable to even make it to the bed. Waking up parched, he grabs a drink from the fridge, but after taking a gulp, coughs it all up, slumping to the ground, queasy, with a splitting headache due to the stimulant's after effects. Still, if he wants to move this body, he needs to rely on the stimulants for now. Then, he grabs some canned food out of the fridge to eat, a telephone device informing him that his stay will end in 2 hours, and it, plus the canned food, is 220,000 cell. The protagonist with only 10,000 cell left after paying up, thinking he needs more money. Then deciding to change up his look, cutting his hair short so people won't recognize him. On the streets, without an identity as an illegal visitor, he deems he won't be able to make money legally, and so gathers mana in his ears, listening to the surrounding conversations for criminals he can take money from since they won't cause him future problems. Eventually finding the conversation of some people shaking someone down for stolen money. Getting up to head there, he stumbles because of his weak body, taking a hit of Viper to enhance his vitality, now ready to earn some money. In an alleyway, a man cowers on the floor before 2 ruffians preparing to cut up his body parts to make up for the stolen money he lost. The pair suddenly electrified unconscious thanks to the lightning magic of our boy, who then goes on to search the pockets of the defenseless men, acquiring 700,000 cell and a laser cutter that was altered to be used as a weapon. The cowering man then saying he won't tell anyone what he saw, but our boy doesn't buy it, instead offering an exchange, asking if he knows anywhere he can get unlawful work, even better if it has to do with magic. Our protagonist rocking up to the place he was told with some fresh clothes, altering his appearance before he enters to that of a handsome young man to hide his identity. Inside, at the bar, he asks for anything light from the bartender, then asking for some work that needs a mage, the bartender giving some signal, cueing the entrance of a beautiful woman in casual wear, asking what he's doing when work hours are through. The bartender replying he's a mage, earning her subtle surprise since he doesn't look the part, but as mages are rare, she brushes over it, introducing herself as Jenny. The protagonist replying in kind, introducing himself as Van, unwilling to give his real name. Leaning over the bar, she asks what he can do since he's a mage, her chatter interrupted by the summoning of lightning from Van's hand, catching the eye of both Jenny and the bartender at the rare side of magic, activated without a magic circle or incantation. Her quickly slamming down a contract for him to sign, then offering his first job, a bounty hit for Taylor Evans, who tried to steal Achilles' security equipment for 3 million cell. Her explaining that in a hit gone wrong, his team all got killed, and now Achilles palmed off the cleanup to them, and since the scavenger group he was with withdrew involvement, there won't be any problems. Also receiving a blood sample Achilles collected from the scene, Jenny wondering why he needs it when a blood mage would cost 5 million or more for the case. However, our protagonist doesn't need one, as he can use the common magic from his memories of World 2.0, now activating 2.0's Hunter-type magic Bloody Chase, sending a crimson snake on the blood trail. The snake flawlessly finding its way to its target before dispersing in a puff. Taylor Evans, confused at what just occurred, turning around to find the menacing figure of Van, who greets him with a "I found you, Taylor Evans." If you enjoyed the vid, like, sub, and comment below. Peace.